Miscommunication happens all the time. People pretend as if you are more likely to miscommunicate when having written conversations, when the reality is none of you probably put in the effort to try. Your low reading level is a result of you not reading, not because you're not smart. I have one suggestion for people, and that is to start reading arguments on the internet. The stupid, nonsensical ones. It seems most times people aren't actually reading what is being said, but just trying to find something to invalidate and speak their pre-scripted response to. A lot of times, people are just parroting the same information that they heard from someone else. They never take a moment to look at the information for themselves, just believing what their favorite authority figure told them. I have found myself being misunderstood and having people project that onto me. One time, I had a 2-day discussion on ego energy. We believed the same thing, but because they couldn't let go of titles, it became a whole debate. Yet the entire time, I was being convinced and believing it was me misunderstanding. I had convinced myself that I just needed to read the messages over again, rephrase my words, attempt to see things differently, when the entire time that misunderstanding was being projected onto me. Because of their inability to let go of titles, labels, and preconceived notions, this person also had a track record of misunderstanding things constantly. Yet somehow in the dynamic, I was the one convinced that I had the issue with understanding and communicating. It was a frustrating dynamic for both parties. Don't let your own self-criticism blind you to the manipulation of good-intentioned people. I worked in a place that depended on communication. If people didn't remember, then it could mess up an entire week. Yet I constantly found myself being misunderstood or forgotten. Then, my solution to the verbal miscommunication was to write it down. Who knew? Even then, I was still misunderstood. Did the managers and people who were responsible ever hold themselves accountable? Of course not. It was constantly people shifting blame onto other people. Since a big chunk of them were responsible for our paycheck, it's keep your mouth shut or face consequences. People will constantly find something else to blame, as opposed to looking inwards and asking, how have my actions impacted this? Why am I behaving this way? Where does it come from? Instead, people either deflect and project onto others, or instead they fall into the spiral of self-pity, where they use their mistakes or flaws as an excuse to fall apart into a spiral of self-hate and criticism, as if judging, guilting, and hating yourself is going to change anything. As if that will help you wake up in the morning and face the day. It is so hard and so difficult to face the shadows that make us respond and react in the ways that we do, but it is crucial, necessary for us to do so moving into the new paradigm. Which is going to lead me into my next point, which is people are constantly wanting to blame external factors for their problems when it's actually them. Their complete and total disregard for information and people. There is a miscommunication between a friend group. It must be the texting and not our inability to go beyond the surface level. We point our fingers constantly, asking who done it as opposed to how have I enabled this. You must admit that either at some point or currently you are holding onto a friend or friends that constantly disrespect you for the sake of peace, kindness, and understanding. We stay in situations that are openly disrespectful to us, thinking it will ensure our safety. Yet are you safe? Can you really say that you are safe? Why is it that people are willing to let go of their autonomy and health for the imaginary concept of safety?